Hi, I'm James and welcome to another review. Today I've picked up a cheap model of Wish. I thought I was going to see how it goes. I know I've had some very bad experiences of these in the past, so let's have a look and see what we've got. I've actually ordered the Challenger 2 model, so we've got the usual instructions in Chinese and we've got our pack, so let's open it up and have a look. So it's the same one as I got with I got with the Padgett brothers, where you have the hideously inaccurate road wheels for all the different ones. Now straight away there's a minor problem in it. It's got an extra wheel on each side there. Okay, I'll worry about that once it's built, because hopefully some of that will be covered by the side skirts. So the first step is to actually assemble the road wheels and the tracks. So let's have a look. We've got 4 holes there. Where do they go? They go onto that. Yeah, there we go. It is a snap fit model. I mean, it is a kid's toy at the end of the day. So I'm not expecting massive accuracy. If it's going to be close enough for gaming, I can then be picking them up for like a couple of quid. That's good enough for me. So let's put the tracks on. Very reminiscent of the old Matchbox and Airfix type tracks. They're a little bit loose actually, could probably do with tightening up. Can't see any way that I could tighten them though, but they're on there. I can probably the weight of it will hold it down, so it won't be too much of an issue. So let's clip out the turret. Start with that one, it's probably easier to get at. Shape wise it's not looking too bad for the turret. It does remind me very much of the turret. I mean, obviously the Challenger 1 and 2 look pretty similar. I got lucky the other day and actually ended up in a Challenger 1. Levels of research I end up doing for this channel. So let's have a look. Yeah, that is actually looking fairly accurate. I like the stowage bins in there. You have the thermal imaging that's in there. The hatches are right. Okay, so that's looking good. So I now need the main gun. Okay, you've captured the rifled, sorry, the smoothbore barrel. Rifled on this one. I had to think for a minute then. Barrel nicely. You've got the reference system at the end with the little mirror. That's nicely done. Let's have a look at the barrel. Nice end bit actually. That's better than a lot of wargaming models. And you've got it with the thermal sleeve, so I quite like that. I'm assuming that's just going to push into there. Let's have a look. These instructions a bit more clearly. And there is a little piece then that goes underneath to help hold it in place. I thought there would be. So that goes there. It's a slight two-tone effect there. Very much like the old Matchbox models for those people who remember them. So there's the part that goes to hold it in place. I'm not going to be too much about clipping that one out because that's just going to go inside. So it looks like it will allow the gun to elevate and depress slightly. There we go, that's pushed fit quite nicely. Make sure when you put it together, if you buy one, that you put the reference mirror on the top. So we've got that. What else goes on? Part 4. So let's find part 4. There's not many parts on this kit. I should have counted them really. Oh, the smoke dischargers actually look quite nice. They actually look like they've been done correctly into 2 parts. I quite like that. So I'm trying to work out which one goes on there. Part 4 is the one with that. While the parts are numbered, I don't see any numbering on the kit, which is a little bit annoying. So that looks like the one that's got the little T piece on the end. So this goes on this side into there. I think that is going to have to be glued in place. It does look like it could go through, but don't quite see how you get it through. So okay, we'll have to find the glue. I did think that it was no glue kit. It looks like it will be. All I've got to do now is remember where I put my glue, so I'm just going to pause the camera for a minute while I find it. Okay, I found the glue. I've also spent a good 5 minutes having a look at how these would fit on in real life, and it definitely, that part is supposed to be on the inside. I can't see how that works, so I'm going to trim that and then glue it in place. There we go, that then fits on quite nicely. So we'll carry on building the model. But there was anything else that needed to go on there? No, not as that step. So the next step is we put the second smoke discharger on there and fit the smoke discharger, well, not just the one at the minute, I thought that would be both. And I wonder if I've made a mistake looking at this. We'll have to have a look at how it goes, because there is another one that looks like it might fit better. So I may have made a mistake there, but let's have a look. The lack of numbering of the parts really doesn't help with this. It goes on the underside. I can't see how that would fit on the underside, unless that goes on the underside and then this piece goes on the top. Okay, it's still going to look right, so I'm not going to worry too much. So let's fit the part that goes on. You can tell I don't rehearse these, can't you? What I really ought to do is buy two of them, build one, and then do this. So I just trim that piece now. That will then fit in the fit and look right. In all fairness, these are some of the best smoke dischargers I've actually seen on a model. You do see smoke dischargers very, very poorly done. Zvezda, for example, did some very poor ones for the M1 Abrams kit. It was appallingly bad. Yeah, that should have gone over that side. I can see a slot it goes in now. Never mind, they'll still slot over fairly well. So I'll bear that in mind if I'm making another one of these. Take that last little bit off there. So I'll take the other one off, ready to go. Always very cautious with these. I can see me dropping a piece like this and never finding it again. So unfortunately I have to glue this side as well now, but they still look reasonably correct. In all fairness, if you spot that they're wrong on a model like this, you really are a bit of an expert when it comes to the Challenger. So if I glue the two together first, that'll probably make it a little easier. Left on there. So that's now looking right, and then that can slot into that hole. So not quite right, but close enough for wargaming purposes. I'll tell you what, let's swap them over. Can I get the? Yeah, I can still get that one out. Then it might look a little better. emphasis on gluing it in place there. Okay, so I've got the, oops, I did have the smoke dischargers on. That's that way up. Which makes me realise the one I've just put on the other side is upside down. So I'll take that one out, I can rotate that part. So that's, there we go, that's gone in nicely. If I hadn't cut that piece off, this would have gone on a lot better. Never mind, you live and learn. That goes on that way so that it angles correctly. There we go, so we have the smoke dischargers. Quite nice smoke dischargers actually, as I said. So what's the next step? Let's try and read the instructions a bit more this time. So we've put that on. It's not very clear. We've got the turret, the hatch to put on top of the turret. Gives me the option, I think, to put it either open or closed. No, I don't. It's not very well cast, that, so I think that is what's giving me the problem. Okay, so I think I'm just going to assemble it closed. In all honesty, I tend to only put a few of them open, so that isn't a problem. So let's glue that in place. A little bit fiddly to get that one on correctly. And because of that hinge at the back that isn't quite correctly cast. Bit of effort and it's on. Okay, there we go, that's in place. I'm going to come back to something else there in a second. So let's have a look. We've got the side skirts to fit on. We're now onto the hull. Okay, it's quite nice. It's got the theatre entry standard armour with the add-on armour panels. They actually look quite good actually. They look correct. So you're looking at something really intended for Iraq or Afghanistan because of the add-on armour. It looks nice. It's looking like the original actually, so that's not exactly something I expected. I generally expect it to be a bit weaker. So let's have a look which way it goes on. So it goes on that way around. Look at it. Yeah, so that clips on, clicks into there. That clicks in at the front. Check I've got that the right way around because it's very easy to get these the wrong way around. Now that does look correct. It doesn't fit particularly well though. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that in place. Let's put the hull on first because then we'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's clipped together. You can see that does not look like a Challenger at the minute, but let's see when we put the side armour on if that makes a difference. So the bits with those are at the back, so that's correct. Now, actually angles. I'm just trying to make sure I get this the right way around because it doesn't look quite right there. That looks like it's riding too high. It should angle up at the back, so it must be that one. The instructions, as you can tell, are not brilliant on this. Now, actually they look like they could be keyed. It does look like that is keyed actually. But the keying doesn't seem to fit. Perhaps it isn't keyed. Really need to rehearse these more. So it should be, when that goes on, let's see if they match up. They match up that way. Does that one match up as well? Or are they And that doesn't match, so it has to be that one there. Okay, that does look like it fits. So does that now click in place better? No, that really doesn't feel like it wants to go in. I'm trying it with every combination just to see which one appears to work. It definitely doesn't go like that, so it must be that one on there, which does then go the wrong way around. So if we have that one, that has the armour panels in the right place, but doesn't then seem... Oh no, sorry, my apologies, I'm going back to front, I moved it around. So that one has the armour panels the right way round. Do the holes now key up? Not brilliantly. Once this goes on, it's staying on. Okay, that has clicked into place now. Okay, let's do the same on the other side, see if that goes on any easier. That's not helping it, there's a little bit of flash there. Let's try that now. So that goes into there, yep, it's now going in. That might have been why I had all the problems and started doubting myself. And we've got a bit of flash on that as well. I think that actually might be deliberate to hold it in place, I'm not sure. Ah, there we go, that seems to have gone in better. But then that one's too high, so a bit of brute force and ignorance. No, so I'm going to take that bit of flash off, because I don't think it's designed to help it. And what we'll do, we'll glue it now. So as I said, I've got no intention of taking this apart. So I get those holes to line up, everything else should follow on nicely now. Yep, that's got that bit of flash as well, so let's take that bit off the end of there. Sure about this, because it has gone together fairly well up to this point, other than my stupid mistakes. And there we go, that's gone on. I just need to trim those bits off the wheels there. They weren't, I didn't actually take those off the sprue, so that was there when I started. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. So, okay, you can see the wheels there. It's hidden the top layer, which is what I thought it probably would do. So that's actually not too bad. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. So let's add the rear then. Okay, it's looking quite a reasonable piece there. So that just pushes onto the rear. Just line the holes up. There we go, that's onto there. And we've got the holes for the external fuel tanks. Okay, quite conveniently, the bit mounting at the rear is one piece with them both on. That's quite a nice way of doing it. That way they're going to line up a bit better. The other piece isn't, but that's not exactly a drama. Some of these are a bit thicker than others, some of these connecting pieces. So I'm going to assemble these on first, I think. Well, not a bad fit actually. It's the usual problem you have with any fuel tanks on the rear, is very poor moulding. You've got the mould line across the middle, possibly looks slightly worse in these because of the changing colour of the parts. So the fuel tanks fit on reasonably well. The turret just slots in. That's a tight fit. So we have our Challenger. Now, let's have a look. There is another piece there. Where have I missed that? The front hull. I knew there was something I needed to do. You know that moment when you think there was something else I had to do. So that goes on. Again with the add-on armour. It's quite nice how they've done the add-on armour with this. It does actually look quite nice. So that slots. So I've just knocked a smoke discharger off. I'll find that in a minute. So we have that there. Now there's also a machine gun, I've noticed. Now the machine gun is hideously short, I think. I think it doesn't look anything like the GPMG that would normally be mounted. Let's take it off and have a look, though, just in case that's just me. Doesn't exactly look right. Now the mounting point for this is actually allegedly on the turret. It actually fits onto the turret, which is completely incorrect. The gun on the Challenger is actually in front of the loader's hatch, the gunner's hatch, not the commander's. British doctrine is the commander has got enough to do without firing a machine gun. So let's put that on as best we can for the gun. What I probably could do is drill a hole for that. Yeah, I'm going to drill a hole and come back. So bear with me and I'll be back shortly. Okay, part found, hole drilled in turret and machine gun added. So there it is. Now, I've got mixed feelings on this. It's a kid's toy. It's not cost me very much. Now, looking at it, it doesn't look too bad. The wheels should possibly be hidden a little bit more. They are a bit too visible. That should stretch closer to the ground. You could possibly add sand skirts to it, which would then hide that. That would be an option. It's not a bad representation. Scale-wise, there is a bit of an oddity, however. Width-wise, it's almost perfect. But when you actually look at the length, it's about 1 centimetre short. So it's not ideal as a gaming piece. There's also the extra issue of that extra road wheel. I don't think you'd spot that, particularly on a gaming table, because you'd be looking at it from above. It's the hull length that's the issue. I'm going to paint it up and I'm going to see how it looks, and then I'll make a bit more of a decision on that. So I'm going to paint it up and I'll be back. So here we go, the final build. It's come out quite nicely actually. I'm still umming and ahhing with it, if I'm 100% honest. It looks right from some angles, particularly sort of as it's coming around there. It looks about the right height and everything looks okay other than the length. If you look at it side on though, square on, level, it has the wrong feel to it, and I think that's because it doesn't have the vehicle length. It's that little bit short. So you're really limited if you're going to use this alongside vehicles you've already got. If on the other hand it's the only one you're using, I don't think you'd really notice the difference. So I have got very mixed feelings on this. Given that you're only talking a couple of quid for it, if you want a quick simple model of a Challenger 2, it works. It just has a problem if you're going to be using it alongside other vehicles or against real experts. But for what I've paid for it, it's certainly a passable model. Hope that's been useful, and I'll see you soon for another review which is going to be in the same series, looking at a Russian vehicle. See you soon.